Hello everybody, my name is Skybound.
Starlight Flags.
And we've just got finished watching episode 8 of Steins Gate.
Well, this one certainly was an interesting one because they managed to jump several times and we did actually get a chance to have a look at the numbers that they were showing, and it was going down. So
yeah, it was going down closer to the 0, which I guess would mean that it's closer to the world line in which CERN basically take over the world and become a dystopia.
We don't actually know what they mean by 1% divergence. We don't know which direction that is, because divergence just means change. So it's 1% change from where he currently was would still be either 0 or 2. So it could be either 1.
Well, they've started on 0. They started in the line 0. So, because
where did he show that?
Every time they've done a jump so far, it's been in the 0 world line. But 1% divergence would be either -1, which would it be able to do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the rules are regarding minus numbers in this universe. Or 1. As in like the positive 1. At least that would be my understanding of 1% divergence, but I'd be more inclined to think it was like actual kind of a positive number 1, because surely it would be -1% divergence if it was the other way around.
Well, the difference isn't necessarily something that has a number to it. It's not either plus or minus. But you can still have 1% divergence, but it's 1% divergence in 2 directions.
But it's interesting how the numbers are going lower rather than higher.
Do you think that this episode 10 is the one where they basically CERN finally takes over the entire world because of his actions or something like that?
Maybe. I mean, it depends how many jumps they do. I guess, maybe. Because I can't help but feel like that 0 is kind of... Like, the fact that they're on 0 is significant at the moment. And the fact that the numbers are edging closer and closer to 0 each time they jump.
Yeah, it could be something like that.
I feel like 0 is where it shouldn't be going. Like, by essentially abusing the power of the phone microwave name tamper, they're basically kind of guiding CERN more towards them.
Yeah.
And as a result, they're sort of making it more likely that they're going to
take over the world.
Take over, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think if they reach... But then that begs the question, if they could go into negative figures, how would that actually affect things?
Yeah. I don't know, but I think to be...
But I mean, either way, they did some interesting things with this one. I mean, first of all, they tried doing a jump just by doing what was it? They had Moeka do the thing where she changed where she said, basically, I don't like this phone that I've got. I want to text myself in the past and tell myself not to buy it. That's a pretty interesting one, because as a result of that, I guess she never
took a picture of him.
Yeah, and
so therefore she never
met him, I guess.
Why did she meet him? Because of the phone? I'm trying to remember.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really know, but the fact that
I think it was the fact that she couldn't take a picture.
Maybe she was on her way back from the phone shop when she met Hohen, and so because she never ended up buying that phone, maybe she maybe she went there earlier in the day or something like that, and she never bumped into him. And as a result,
it's because she never went and got the phone in the first place.
Yeah.
Because if she was coming back from that shop at the time,
and then she never
bumped into him.
Yeah, she never bumped into him. She never became a lab member. But then that's a really weird paradox, because how...
He's on a different timeline, so it doesn't matter that he didn't do that. So you got to remember, when it comes to these sort of paradoxes that are across world lines. If he gets knocked across to another world line, the events happened in a different world line, so they don't have to happen in the one that he's currently jumped to.
Yeah.
It only causes him to go back.
But then there was also Ruka who did a jump back as well, and also just take a moment of appreciation for Ruka's cross-dressing abilities.
Wow. Wow.
But
I mean, the whole thing with her wanting to go back and get well, she wanted to be born a girl. You wanted to be born a girl, so it's like, okay, fair enough, but it's an interesting way
it's kind of
doing it.
It's kind of a weird thing, because I find it interesting actually that they that the way they did the character was actually very sort of well done.
What do you mean?
As in, essentially, what they tried to do, I guess, was I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it.
Basically, the character always acts like a girl to start off with, and you kind of.
Well, essentially, rather than Ruka being a trap, Ruka is trans, which is interesting actually, because you don't really see many sort of trans characters in anime. You see a lot of traps in anime.
Yeah.
But there is a distinction between the two. Just putting that out there. There's a distinction between traps and trans.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
I see you, Tumblr. I see you.
There is a distinction, mostly because one is they don't necessarily.
Well, traps. Well, I can't believe we're getting into this discussion on a video about Steins game, but traps are basically characters, like male characters that enjoy dressing as a girl, but are actually they're cross players essentially.
Yeah.
That they like cross dressing, but then they are sort of. They're a boy essentially,
and
you've got like a Stolfo in Fates, who's one of the more prominent traps in anime.
So they know.
Yeah, but in the case of Ruka, it's Ruka.
It's not about the clothes. It's actually about the sexual.
Basically, she's trying to pass as a girl essentially. But because she wants to be a girl, so it's
less to do. So in other words, a trap doesn't necessarily want to be a girl. They just like wearing girls' clothes.
Basically, yeah. That's kind of the distinction. But I think unfortunately, there's in some communities that's got kind of mixed up, and people now think that trap is like
a slur.
Yeah, it
really,
isn't, by the way.
When it really isn't anything to do with that. It's
trust me, I'm a filthy weeb. I have looked up lots of traps. Anyway, moving on.
I don't want to know about your porn history, thank you very much.
Anyway, I find it interesting the way that they thought, okay, well, let's try and flip it, basically go back in time and tell the mother to eat more vegetables in order to have a girl.
That in itself is like that.
It's a very far-fetched idea.
Yeah, because the thing is, it relies on that old wives' tale being correct, but it could also have other unintended circumstances.
Well, it's a pretty massive change when you think about it, because. Well, first of all, you're changing one person from one gender to another.
If it worked.
Well, that's the thing. I kind of think it must have done. And my reason for that is when Hohen like first jumps back after that message is sent to the pager, like the first thing he does when he sees Ruka is he checks her chest. And it still looks pretty flat, but that's fine because there's flat girls out there. But here's the interesting thing: Ruka, like when Ruka noticed, or when Kurisu said, "Where are you looking?" like kind of telling him off, like he or she went like this.
Yeah, across the chest.
Which suggests to me, which would be a very strange behaviour if we're talking about a male.
Yeah.
But not so strange if it's a girl. Now, there's pretty much no other clue beside that because their clothes were pretty much the same, and
the hairstyle was slightly different.
Slightly, but not enough to kind of.
I'm going to have to stop referring to her as they.
I'm gonna hedge my bets now and say her.
Okay, say.
I'm gonna say her at the moment. Before that, I would have said he, but following on this episode, I'm gonna say her. Because I think this is going to be a. I think
no one has that behaviour if they are like. I can't see.
It would make more sense, but this also makes me wonder. Oh God, how is Horton going to confirm this? Because Ruka in this world line still looks pretty much exactly the same as Ruka in the other world.
There's
only one way to check.
Yeah, but
and let's face it,
he's already confirmed he's not going to do that. If you remember what he says I can't do that.
Yeah.
So he's not. So I don't.
He's not going to grow for us.
I don't think we're going to find out about it. I think we're just going to have to assume that he is in fact she. We're going to have to assume that because I don't think they're going to go there with this.
You know what? I know how they could do it actually, because they're on a different world.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
But they could do this. If they're on a different world line, right? Then and it's confirmed that Kurisu and Mayushi are in the same room with Ruko. Super simple solution.
Let me guess.
Mayushi just calls her a girl. Literally. Because Mayushi's known Ruka for ages. So if Mayushi is calling Ruko a girl on that timeline, it's pretty much guaranteed. Now that could backfire a bit if Kurisu says that, because at that point in the timeline, or at least shortly before that point in the timeline, Kurisu didn't know that Ruko was a boy.
Oh, right.
So it depends, I think it might depend on who addresses her as a girl first.
Right, okay, so if somebody who addressed her as a girl who didn't...
But then again, even then that could work, because if Kurisu refers to Ruka as a girl, and Okabe, or Horn, says, "Oh, you silly assistant, actually it's a boy."
Then he finds out.
And then Mayushi's just like, "Okabe, what the fuck are you talking about?" in her kind of more innocent way, you know.
Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah, there are a few ways they could do it without going sort of full on.
I suppose so. There's a couple of ways they could do it.
You know, without getting gropey with it. But I'm just saying there are ways they could handle that. But I'm curious whether or not it is a thing. But
I don't think they will, to be fair. But if they do, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think. I personally am going to hedge my bets and say that Ruka is now a girl.
Okay, I don't think this is the most important thing. I think we've got massively off track here.
No, I think it's an important detail, because if Ruka's a girl, how much other things have changed as a result? The other thing I'm kind of wondering is if that's going to...
Well, you don't know how many other changes have been done because of the previous jumps. The thing is, just because there's some changes you're aware of doesn't mean there's some other changes.
Well, yeah, there'll probably be changes that they're not aware of, but the thing is, 17 years of, like,
17.
Someone who was previously a boy and had lived as a boy for 17 years,
that's 17.
has now lived 17 years
That's
as a girl.
lot of time to be changed.
That's a lot of things that can be changed.
And the longer the time frame, the bigger the range of error.
Yeah, so there is a massive chance that just more than Ruka's gender has changed here. There is a lot that could have gone on within those 17 years if things have gone right. And something must have happened, something significant happened, because the phone microwave sent him onto the other world line, the reading Steiner, as he calls it, activated. So surely something big happened, and I think that was it. But if that was it, that must have had some massive kind of outward kind of things going on. Again, it's the butterfly effect.
Yeah, it is the butterfly effect. It just because
there is a massive difference there. That is like it seems like
and that's the reason why it probably dropped down that scale again.
Yeah, it's a small detail. Like in terms of the character itself, like it's a small detail, but that has massive implications. You've basically just put them onto the opposite kind of side of the gender thing. Which obviously there are differences between the two, and how will those differences have affected how their life went? It's really curious, actually. I'm very curious what this particular world line has to offer, because that's a very big change. I'm still none the wiser about the significance of the numbers. But I
don't know whether it's getting worse or better until we get to 1 or 0, essentially.
That's the thing. I mean, the whole sort of kind of the logical person in me is saying, like, the lower the numbers going down, the more negative the effects are, because it's putting a negative.
Have we ever seen them go up?
I don't think we have. I think they've always gone down. I'd need to kind of rewatch all the episodes we've watched so far where there was a jump to confirm that, but I think they've been going down. At least in this episode they've been going down consistently. So there's definitely something about those numbers going down, but I'm very curious about what the significance of the numbers going down is.
Well, very significant people have disappeared from.
Well, the fact that Milk has disappeared is a very sort of, again, that's a very big change.
It could also have an effect on them, not because she's disappeared. There could have been information she could have given them that could have helped them defeat CERN, which may not be there. So it'd be interesting. I reckon they'll get to 0, get into a world with CERN, and then end up having to try and stop CERN when that happens.
Yeah.
And undo the changes he's just made and go back the other way. I don't know. Could be, could not. There's no way of knowing until we actually watch, just to be fair.
Yeah, this is very curious. Yeah, all we can really do is keep watching these episodes and seeing what happens. But yeah, I'm very, very sort of hooked onto this now. I'm very curious.
Same here. I'm gonna have to watch it all the way to the end now.
Yeah, but anyway, another great episode. Another really sort of interesting
great episode that we can't give a score yet.
But yeah, as usual, hope you enjoyed our kind of episode discussion that we had going on. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Watch the reaction, it's quite fun.
Oh god, yeah, that was a really good reaction.
And yeah, just in general, we hope you enjoyed the video. So as usual, I'm Skybound.
Starbucks.
And we'll see you with the next episode of Steins Gate, which will be episode 9. Goodbye.
See ya.